Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. And when it comes to Brexit, one of the government's main objectives, of course, is to hide as many of the consequences from the British population as possible. And one of the immediate pinpricks into the balloon of British exceptionalism is going to be, it seems, passport queues when going on holiday to EU countries. At the moment, we can pass through really quickly through eGates. In a few months, we're going to be at the back of the queue along with the rest of the world in the line. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, yeah, eGates, used by citizens with EU passports or affiliated passports, because there are non-EU countries that can also use these, to quickly get through airports and Eurostar terminals. And like anywhere else, the EU, of course, gives its own citizens faster access through its borders. Now, I'm not a traveller, haven't been abroad for many years, but I have been abroad in the past, and I do recall the difference between, say, passing from the UK into France, very quick, and entering the United States, for example, which was far from quick. I may have mentioned this before, but my overwhelming memory in Florida last I went, and we piled off the plane. It wasn't particularly busy, this airport at the time. I think this plane was the only one. It was early hours of the morning. And there was one American family there. Everyone else was from the rest of the world. And passport control, there was booth after booth after booth after booth after booth. All for US citizens. There was one booth for rest of the world. And we were in this queue for a good old time, well over an hour. The whole plane, apart from this one American family that they brought someone out from the office to come and do their passport control, and then they buggered off back to the office. There was never any thought of, oh, there's a lot of people here, should we open up another one and get people through quicker? No, this is the one booth for rest of the world, and that was all there was to it. And you know, in a situation like that, do you feel all that welcome? You don't feel all that welcome. But at the end of the day, that is the system. That's the way it's set up. It's obviously set up to give preferential treatment to its own citizens. We have the same thing here. Now, people from the UK who are used to travelling to the EU, whether for holiday, most people it'll be for holiday, won't it? Some, it may be for business or for visiting. They may have a home in the EU, for whatever other reason it is, they'll be used to going through reasonably quickly. And if these people have only ever when they've travelled abroad at all, they've only ever travelled to an EU country, then yeah, could be in for a bit of a shock next year or whenever they next travel abroad, because they're going to be treated like an average member of an average country with an extra hour's delay. Nice little treat there. Having to queue up with the rest of the world. Now, this is, by the by, of course, shouldn't really be a big deal. I mean, I'm quite sure people who travel regularly will just think, well, yeah, I get this. The e-gate is for EU citizens largely. We stopped being EU citizens. Yes, we understand that other citizens get to use it as well. But, you know, the system hasn't been set up for us to do that. That's understandable. People would even be anticipating this. So what makes it remarkable for me are the reports that the government seem to be pushing quite hard for UK passport holders to still be able to use the e-gates. You know, this hasn't just been raised as part of negotiations, where of course you'd expect it. I mean, I would fully expect the government to ask for all the benefits that we had as members, all of them, and just see which ones they can actually get. Absolutely. But individual member states have been lobbied about it as well. That seems to me to be a serious effort to try and get an exemption for this particular facility. Now, it's particularly shocking to me when I consider something I was talking about yesterday, for example. As a result of Boris Johnson's hard Brexit, this isn't as a result of Brexit full stop, specifically Boris Johnson's hard Brexit, even if we get a deal, every single sector of our economy, I think it will actually be every single sector, is going to become much less competitive overnight. Each industry has had its representatives lobbying the government hard to try and get special exemptions for them during the negotiations. Or businesses within their sector will fold next year. Not all of them, of course, but some businesses will fold. So yesterday I was talking about producers of sausages and meat pies, but it applies equally to producers of chemicals, car manufacturers and so on. Even the fishing industry at the start of the year, would you believe this? The fishing industry were asking for special treatment in the event of a no deal. A no deal that, if it happens, is believed to be largely down to fishing issues. But the point is that there are perfectly well-run businesses that are going to fail because of Brexit unless their trading conditions can carry on unchanged. In other words, these businesses, they're running all right, but they haven't got a lot of leeway to become less competitive and still soldier on. Negative changes in trading conditions will tip them over. And of course, that is why they'd want the government to seek exemptions for them. It's also understood, I'm sure, that the government can't possibly get exemptions for all of these industries. Certainly, I said that myself. It may be that they can't get any exemptions at all. It may well be that the EU go, look, if you want access to this facility, you have to agree to the rules. And the government go, well, we're not going to. And then that's all there is to it. But to be putting in so much effort into eGate access, instead of using that energy for parts of our economy, it seems perverse, unless I'm missing something. I get that there could be an economic angle here. People travelling for business, for example, may well feel that extra hour, and that'll be potentially, an hour, I think is what it's estimated, 50 to 60 minutes extra it would take to get through at busy times, and they may feel that time is money and that extra hour for them has an economic impact. But I just can't imagine the difference between the eGate and the rest of world procedure is going to have a meaningful impact on the ability of brand UK to do its stuff. In terms of significant impact on the economy, I cannot believe it'll register at all. I just see it as yet another political angle. I don't see this as the government pushing it for people travelling for business. Because we've seen they've got scant regard for business. We know what Boris Johnson said about business, and if you don't, I'm not allowed to say it here. But if I think it's about the holiday makers, of course. It's the large groups of Telegraph readers and Express readers who don't want to go, oh, we're just an ordinary country, we're not that exceptional after all. Because if businesses fail, the government will just say it's their fault for being too crap to see the opportunities. But mucking in with the rest of the world at an airport, the very definition of being completely not special at all, like my experience of going to Florida, strikes at the very heart of the exceptionalism behind Brexit. Can't have that, can we? We can't go into the ordinary queue for ordinary citizens, for goodness sake. What? I think we're going to have to, at least for a while. There was a suggestion I saw that a new IT system being developed by the EU might allow us to use eGates in 2022, maybe. I'm also guessing this would depend on whether or not we can agree to share intelligence information as well, because for all the talk of trade agreements, we also need to agree a whole host of other things. If we don't get a deal at all, then cooperation on data sharing is up the spout as well, and without that, it won't just be politically or legally difficult to get access to these eGates, but actually impossible. With the deal that Johnson is after, there are only so many comforts of the EU that we will be able to enjoy. That's what we have to accept. If we want more, we have to integrate more. We will get as much benefit of trade with the EU, cooperation with the EU, as we'll get as much as we're prepared to integrate with. It's as simple as that. That's how it works. If we wish to integrate less, and when I say we, I don't mean the country, I mean the government, who for some reason seem to make more sense and be more coherent on spitting image than in real life. But if we wish to integrate less, then this is a consequence of that less integration. After all, we could have been like Switzerland, with possibly fewer cuckoo clocks and maybe not so many mountains. We don't have that many mountains. That was billed as a way forward by the Brexiteers. Oh, why don't we be like Switzerland? Yeah, why don't we be like Switzerland? That's something they seem to drop the day after the referendum. Swiss citizens get to use the eGates. Naturally, the pro-Brexit media are billing this as the EU being unfair again, like they do. How dare they stop us using these facilities just because we've cancelled our membership? I've never seen the like in my life. Again, this exceptionalist attitude. If any good is going to come from Brexit, if any good at all can come from it, I really hope it at least stamps out this toxic mindset once and for all. We're no longer the world superpower. We're a rainy, sheep-infested group of islands, and that occasionally produces actors and musicians that the rest of the world appreciates. Even when we were a superpower, we weren't really exceptional. We just had a good navy and tended to pick on people who didn't have guns. That's it. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.